Hey everyone, Jason Katzenbach here along with Kirsty Verity and Isaac Coleman. And today we're going to talk about something that is so frustrating, and it happens to all of us. If you're a seller and you're frustrated by those vague responses of seller support, if you're frustrated by constantly having issues drag on, at times actually crippling your business, you're going to want to stay tuned for the next 20 minutes as we dig into that topic specifically. We're going to talk about how to deal with Amazon seller support. We're going to talk about how to get the support you need, and we're going to give you a few different strategies. So stay with us, please stay with us with Isaac and Kirsty. And first, however, I want to let you know about the brand new Amazing Accelerators that just launched. And if you're sitting there running an Amazon business and you're getting frustrated, you're overwhelmed, and you're wondering, like, what's the next thing I have to do? I'm not getting the results that I want. I'm not getting the results that I need, but I don't know what next to do. That's what the Amazing Accelerators is. This is all focused on helping business leaders get unstuck and be able to get the next direction and start growing their business with our brand new Amazon blueprint. And that is from the creators, from Kirsty and Isaac themselves. And it's for sale right now at amazingaccelerators.com/blueprint. Now, if you go to amazingaccelerators.com, you'll get access to our free training series that talks about two really powerful components of your business that you're going to want to check out. There's free downloads. And if you're ready to really take your business to the next level, get unstuck, you're going to want to check it out right away. All right, Kirsty and Isaac, thank you very much for being here. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, we're all Amazon sellers here, and we've been through this nightmare. And obviously, you guys have coached lots of people as well, and have, been firsthand in dealing with this and helping people deal with this. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about what are the strategies for helping get better seller support.
Yeah. So this is something that, I actually, when I first started, everybody's kind of afraid to contact seller support because they didn't want to get shut down for any paranoia or fear or whatever. Everybody was like, I don't want to contact them because I just feel like they're going to shut me down if I tell them what I'm doing. And it's not like you're even doing anything wrong. It's like, you just feel like you're going to, tell on yourself. It's like, you got to plead the fifth instead of like try to appeal your case. Right. But over the years, it's been kind of like one of those things that you can get actually good at. It's like a skill set now. So basically what we do is we have a couple of things, but what I want to kind of preface here is I think a lot of people here have probably recently seen erroneous claims that their product is classified as like a pesticide or restricted, or that there's some sort of mysterious issue with their product, but Amazon won't tell you what it is. And really the only way you'll ever know is if you ask. And a lot of people are just too afraid to ask. They'll go ask every other seller that they know before they go and ask Amazon, like, hey, why did my listing get shut down? Hey, why am I suppressed? Hey, why is my account in a review? But they won't just go ask Amazon themselves. So the first thing, I think, Kirsty, you and I, when we just started working together a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever it is now, I was just like, I just go, hey, Amazon, here's how you fix it. I'm just going to tell you what to do because I don't want to have to sit here and guess. I know what's going on behind the scenes because I know what's happening with my account. So I'm pretty sure that whatever you've done is account of this, or it's something completely error or something like that. So I'll just say, you've made a mistake. Please go fix it. Here's exactly how you do it. And then I list out the steps and I say, just go do it. And I don't even give them any why does this happen? Can you please help me? I just say, something's gone wrong. Here's how you fix it at Amazon. Go ahead and do it. So I never ask for help. I just tell them what to do. And that's worked really, really well. And so Kirsty, I know that we've done this quite a few times. And I think that more often than not, it works better than just asking for help.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we find a lot of people do is, and it'd be awesome to understand if anybody on the call today has actually done this, because I know I did in the beginning, was we go, please help me because I'm such an awesome seller and I've sold so much, dollars on Amazon, and therefore you should help me out because I'm helping you. And that's kind of what we do, right? But really what they want to know is what you're going to do about it and what they need to do. So as Isaac said, if you give them a step-by-step of, okay, here's what I've done to fix the problem, and here's what now you need to do to fix my problem, then, so literally stating you need to now reinstate my product, reinstate my listing, or whatever the issue is. And they generally do it. It's a bit like training. If you're training people, or like, doing a step-by-step instructions, if you just tell someone what to do, they actually literally just go and do it. And there's no ambiguity around that. It works exactly the same for Amazon. So you have to feel like the business owner. You have to feel like it's very important for you to obviously get this thing back, and don't plead, as you said earlier, right? It's not a kind of like, please help me out. It's no, I've done this. I've sorted your problem. You sort my problem, and let's all move on. That's kind of how you have to approach it. And once you start doing that, it's amazing how quickly you can get things either unblocked, redone, and just generally make your life a lot easier working with Amazon seller support.
Yeah. I just wanted to add this one thing. It's amazing. It's really about reminding people that, like, they need to lead their business. They need to own it and, fight for it. Now, thankfully, there's some good news on the horizon recently, and I wish I had a link to the article right now. But there's been a lot of progression in Europe regarding this kind of fact, because Amazon, I guess I want to shed a little bit of light on for it for people too, is you got to look at it from Amazon's standpoint. They understand whether it's for rankings, for optimization, whatever. The more specific they give people guidance from a support factor, the more people can take advantage of them, the more people can learn how to manipulate the system. But there's that balance that has to happen. So I understand it, Amazon, we get it. Like, you don't want to tell us exactly the reason why our product isn't ranked on page 1. But that's not the issue. The issue is a greater perspective of just giving no guidance and basically crippling businesses because they're so vague. Where, Kirsty, we were just talking about that, where they'll say, oh, it's either one of these 3 things. And it's like, well, where do I even start with that? So really bringing it back to them and saying, like, no, like, I need help here. And it's amazing how many times I've asked people, like, did you pick up the phone and call them? They don't want to do that. They're intimidated to do that. And it's like, if you're just going to relate for email, I mean, it's the bane of our society. I mean, the other day I was kind of in a rush and I asked my wife to get a hold of someone, and she texted them. And we're kind of getting late. And then I'm like, well, did you call them? She's like, no, I'm like, we need to call them. It's, we always want to be behind the keyboards kind of thing, but it doesn't work that way. And before we get into more training here, I just want to remind people, if you're on here right now, and we'd love to know where you're from. So leave a comment, whether you're seeing us on YouTube or you're seeing us on Facebook, of where you're from. We'd love to do a shout out for you. We're going to be doing a Q&A. So at the end of this, we're going to be opening it up for questions. So if you have any questions on anything we're talking about, feel free to leave it. And we'd love you to like and share this post, because, the more you guys do that, the more it helps us want to do more of these. So let's bring it back again for a sec. Like, what do you see as the, maybe I'll ask directly Kirsty. So what do you see as the biggest thing that people are doing wrong with seller support?
I think you touched on it there. They generally will email first and they won't call. They get scared. Also, they might not, even if they do call, they won't stay on the line, right? So, because sometimes it can actually even be frustrating to get through to the person that you need to talk to. I know for me, it's actually frustrating because when I first set up my Amazon seller account, I used a massive long email, right? That no one can spell, no one, so I'm spelling it out the whole time. So it takes me like 15 minutes to even get through to someone, right? You don't even think about that when you say it.
Here's a quick little tip. Give them an email of just a quick little name.
Exactly, honestly, because otherwise you get frustrated. You can just get so frustrated and just put the phone down, right? And it sounds daft, but it's actually, true. So the biggest thing is that, but then also they get scared because they think that there's going to be an escalation somewhere, that they're going to get shut down, right? So I'll take an example of there may be a problem with the product in some way, shape, or form. There's 4 things that Amazon have said that you need to look at. Now, the first reaction that most people do is to go, well, I haven't done anything wrong. So what's all this about? I don't get it. They call Amazon or message Amazon and say, I haven't done anything wrong, reinstate my account. So it's like, yeah, but you have. So you need to kind of dig deeper in your own backyard, because you probably don't know what it is yet, but there's probably a review somewhere. There's probably a complaint somewhere. So the first thing that we do is to go, okay, let's find the root cause, what we call the root cause, right? And exactly that point, look at your reviews, look at your complaints, and there'll be something in there that someone's complained about, regardless of whether it's true or not, that Amazon have kind of flagged as a problem. They won't tell you, like you said, Jason, exactly what it is. So you need to find the root cause yourself. And I've had this quite a number of times. So it is usually within a complaint somewhere. Now, even if you haven't done it, what you then need to do, or it's not an obvious thing, but just work out what it is. So as an example, somebody might have complained that they didn't, that your product didn't have the logo on it, which I know is a daft thing, but this is what happens, right? People will complain about this thing. There may have been a batch where you didn't have the logo on it. They don't know if it's your product or not. So just work out that that's what it is, or it could be that. Then what you do is you actually speak to Amazon and also follow up with a plan of action. So say, okay, I believe that this complaint is because of this, and here's what I'm doing to fix it, regardless of whether you're actually doing it or not. But you say, okay, I've talked to my factory. We're now we're inspecting our product, 5 times before it leaves the factory. And so essentially just think about what are the core steps that would be needed to actually achieve that not happening again. List that out in bullet format to Amazon, and then say, as Isaac said, okay, I've done this. This is what I've done to rectify the situation. I need you to now reinstate my product, reinstate my listing, or whatever that is. And by doing something like that, number one, you're taking your emotion out of it, because you're not saying, I didn't do anything wrong, please, because that loop will go on for weeks and months. I can attest to that if you don't nip that in the bud. You're also showing to Amazon that you're a responsible seller and you care about your customers, because at the end of the day, that's what they want, right? They've got the customer at the heart. And you're also giving them the solution of what you've done about it, and you're telling them what to do. So I think bringing it back to the question, the biggest problem I think with people is they're worried that this thing's going to escalate to something else. So therefore they don't tackle it in the right way, and they don't believe they've done anything wrong, and they're not prepared to have a look at exactly what could have gone wrong and then state what they're going to do about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I just kind of wanted to point out there is that a lot of people, because they don't think they've ever done anything wrong, they'll blame exterior things. Like they'll blame pretty much anything and everything. Oh, it was a review I got from somebody who I knew that got my account shut down. Well, probably not, but you never know what it is, because like they're just looking for anything and everything. It could just be simple as like, a customer wanted to return a product, but they didn't want to have to pay for the shipping to return the product. So they just said a product not as described, and that gives you kind of like an A to Z claim or something, right? So there's lots of different reasons why it could happen. As soon as you figure it out, that's the situation you have to address, and you should only be addressing one issue. Like as Amazon gives you those 4 things at one time, you're not going to be like, hey, I think it might've been this, this, and this. So in that same ticket, you're going to say, I addressed this, and I addressed this, now reinstate it. Because that will just lead them to super confusion. You'd have to open a ticket for each issue and say, I've addressed this issue, please reinstate my account. Another support ticket, I've addressed this issue, please reinstate my account or listing or whatever. So the thing is that you can never, like, if you have like multiple ASINs that are like, or multiple SKUs that are sort of caught up in sort of some sort of like, temporary suspension or what do they call it, suppression, then you can't do all of them at once and say, all these listings have been shut down. Here's how to fix it, please. They'll just be like, no, you have to do one at a time. So that's another key tip, is never try to do multiple problems at once on one ticket, because it will take years. Because even if they get one fixed, it will just keep open. That ticket will stay open, and it will just keep going around in circles or through all these. Oh, we've escalated to a separate team. They're looking into it. That team never looks into it. I've yet to see one team come back from an email like that and actually fix the problem. I've never seen it happen. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend like trying to get a bunch of things solved in one support ticket. Just get the one thing done, then move to the next and get the next thing done, and move to the next and get the next thing done. So another thing I always tell people is, don't like you said, Jason, before, lead the business, right? Don't just assume that Amazon is technically right. You do have to take credit and responsibility and go back to them and say, look, something is wrong. I've looked into it. Here's how I fixed it. But at the same point, like when they say like, no, we can't do it, most of the time they can, but the person you're talking to doesn't have the ability to do it. So I literally never take no for an answer. I will actually stay on the phone with them until I get the thing fixed. I will just be like, hey, look, I know you can't fix it. You're tech support. I need somebody above you, escalate me up. But I just never take no for an answer. So literally speaking, most of the support people you're going to talk to on the first level have no idea what they're talking about. All they're going to do is read a support page from the help, the search function on Seller Central. And if you just say, look, I know that this is the problem and I know how to fix it, so I'm going to tell you how to fix it, but you're not the person that can approve this. So you need to help me out and get me to the right place, because usually they'll just send you that typical canned response, right? So, oh yeah, if you send a support ticket via email, then they come back like, oh yeah, so here's the issue, here's how you fix it. And it's literally not even related to your issue most of the time. It's like some confused version of what they think, because it's like one little snippet of what you said, and they'll put that into the search and they'll give you like that article where they just ignored the rest of the email. And you're like, oh my God, like, how did you get this wrong? Like, I'm not even talking about that. So literally just never take no for an answer. And I've sat on phone calls with Amazon support for 2 hours because it was that important to the business. And I just told them, I'm not hanging up. So if you hang up on me, I'm going to send an email to Jeff@Amazon.com, and I'm going to get your operator number and all this other stuff. I'm like, so just go ahead and escalate me. And that's the next phase is, if all else fails, get somebody else involved, because there is somebody at Amazon that will help. And that's kind of where we go from there, Kirsty.
Yeah.
So actually, I just wanted to do a couple of shout outs. So we've got Abdul from Libya. We've got Locke from Victoria, BC. My sister lives in Victoria, BC. It's so beautiful. Route 613, Karina from Orlando, Sharon from Victoria. So great to have you here. We got Ryan from Florida. So awesome. And Yogesh from India. Welcome. And I guess
somebody from Ottawa on the Facebook as well.
Yeah, I was just going to get into the Facebook there. So Ottawa, yeah, I'm moving to Ottawa actually in September. So thanks for being here. Hang on one second here. I got to expand my screen. There we go. So Amnila from the Philippines, Javier from Mexico, yeah, and Linda from Ottawa. So great to have you guys here. Please, if you haven't already, could you please like this post, share this post. And yeah, leave a comment. Again, leave a comment from where you're from. There's some great questions being posted, so we're going to answer those in just a minute. And if you just joined us, what we're talking about is how to get seller support. As sellers, it's so frustrating. Amazon can be vague. Amazon can, at times just not respond and tell them, as if you just missed it, how Isaac just said, sometimes tell you, oh, we're escalating it to a team that'll get back to you. That never gets back to you. And so, what we've talked about so far is, first of all, you need to own the issue. It's your business. As Isaac was saying, he doesn't get off the phone until he gets an answer. If you have anxiety about it, if you're like, maybe you have to ask stuff, are you being lazy about it? I know, like, I hate spending 2-3 hours on a phone, but I hate not making money in my business too. So, what's that huge opportunity for you? You have to be on the phone if you want to get these done. However, when you get the complaint, if there is something, right away, what they're saying is look at your feedback, look at your reviews, look at your messaging, see if there's something in there where someone escalated something that they're giving you grief about. It can be anything. Look at it. And then what you do is own the issue. So if someone said, first of all, if someone said that, this product was not as described, reach out to the person and say, could you please let us know? We're so sorry, handle it. Don't deflect blame, never get pissed. Well, I shouldn't say that. You're going to get angry, but never vent on the customer, never vent on support. It's not their issue. And if you're aggravating to them, they're not going to like it. But own the issue and come up with a solution. If someone says that your product wasn't as advertised, tell Amazon then that you're requesting information. You've checked all your listings. Everything is accurate. You've reached out to that customer to understand the issue. Own it. Tell them you're taking action. Let them see that it's yeah, this person's taking it serious. If Amazon's not getting back to you with an answer, then stay on the phone with them until you get the help. And another great tip that Isaac had. So if they identify there's 3 issues you have to deal with, create a support ticket for each one of those issues and deal with them individually thoroughly. But they also gave a great marketing tip. And this is whether you're in business, whatever you're doing, oftentimes we assume people know the next step to do. But by telling them, and that means even in customer support, when you're responding to them, okay, I've done this, now you need to reinstate my account. By telling them what they have to do at the end of it too is so powerful, because it takes the ownership off you back on them. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I've owned it. I've fixed it. Now you need to do what you're supposed to do. Please fix my account. Now you don't say it like that, but that's the general idea of the tips that they're giving. So those are fantastic. Any other advice before we take some questions?
I think this, well, just one, just looking back to what you were saying about owning the business, because I think a key mindset sometimes with people is that we're in an abusive relationship with Amazon, right? And it's almost like, you know, they're out to get us, and they're not at all. So I think just try not be less emotional with your business. Be objective about what's going on, like you said, Jason. Stand back and exactly like from a customer's perspective, you know, you're saying, well, why have they given me a 1-star review? Stand back and go from an Amazon's perspective, why have I irritated Amazon in some way? You know, what have I done to be able to do this, right? And so if you're objective about things and you see things from a top-down view versus you're in it and you grind it every day, and that will just serve you so well in business as well as, you know, just this particular issue. The less emotion you can have around, you want passion, but you don't want to be emotionally tied up in issues, because that's going to make you spiral down, right? So always have an objective view, see it from Amazon's perspective, and then essentially talk to them accordingly, and then tell them exactly what to do. Yeah, so it's more like a mindset around working with Amazon, because that's the last thing we want. We want to build this awesome business on Amazon, but we don't want to feel like they're there to kick us in the bum, right?
Yeah. And just like a couple of final like pieces of advice and tips is like, if it doesn't work and like they just won't budge, I basically say I want to be escalated to the leadership team, because that's the team that it basically just means somebody above you, management or something like that. There is usually US support for that if you call from 9 to 5 on Pacific time. So if you can call 9 to 5 Pacific time, they usually have US support for the US, and then obviously about the same time for the UK. And then we always do a plan of action. So make sure that you, like we said, bullet point everything out and tell them exactly what you've done. Then if nothing else happens, you basically need to contact, there's 3 emails I always use. So it's Jeff@Amazon.com, which a lot of people know about. There's seller-performance@Amazon.com that some people know about. And then there's also notice-dispute@Amazon.com. I will email all 3 of those at the same time in the same email. And I'll just put the case log of the email or the case log number in the email to them and explain the situation and say, the issue is not being resolved. There really is no issue. It just needs to be fixed on your guys' end or whatever it is. That's how you can get somebody, like one of those 3 departments will usually respond within 2 to 3 days if like all else has failed. So you'll get somebody, like by tying them all in, they all see that they're part of it and they go, oh, somebody's got to act now. And it kind of puts like this really like they all get a little, you know, sweaty. They're a little nervous that somebody's going to be like, well, how did these not get like fixed in this amount of time? Especially if it's been like over the course of a few months or weeks. Like if they're like, well, you have had this issue for 2 weeks and nobody's helped you, we're going to act on it fast. So that's one way to really get that issue in the end. If nothing else works, that's how you can kind of use that as a tip.
Yeah. And even if that doesn't work in the end. So I have had this literal issue before where it's still in a loop and we've escalated. And if all else fails, the key thing that I've found that will get you unstuck, and again, this is because you have to go through that process, right? So Amazon seller support, then escalation. If it still doesn't work, I just got a legal letter from my lawyer just saying, if you do not reinstate this, then we will be taking further action. Literally, say just stating that. And then within 30 minutes, it was, I spent 3 months going around in a loop. And within 30 minutes, I was unstuck. Now, you only want to use that if you really need to, but you know, it's what I'm saying is things can still be resolved, because I do see a lot of sellers and they give up because they're like, yeah, my product got shut down and I just didn't know how to do it. And I'm just going to walk away because I just don't know what to do. So never feel like you haven't got another avenue. There's always people out there ready to help. There's always, other groups out there ready to help you. There's specific lawyers now that are dealing with this stuff. So don't ever despair. There's always, a way to get things sorted rather than walking away.
And Amazon's not dumb either. And if you're doing something blatant, don't lie. If you're doing something that's blatantly bad, stop and tell them how it was, and give an excuse. Like, defend yourself. But I mean, stop doing that stuff. Like, you got to understand, you got to build a real business here. And if you're trying to build a business off of hacks, I mean, believe me, I was there at a time too. And that's what you try to do. And then you get caught, and that's not building a real business. So build a real business and treat it like a real business. So maybe, Isaac, before we get into some Q&A, you can recap what we talked about and maybe what they can do next. Are you hearing him, Christy?
I forgot I muted myself. So just to give you guys a quick recap, first we talked about just don't ask for help. Tell them what to do. Do it in a succinct and bullet point form way. Don't take no for an answer. You should just always try to get it done. Like, that's the thing that Kirsty's saying. Don't quit on your business. Like, if it's important to your business, you should have to handle it. And that's what a business owner will do. If your store is on fire, would you just let it burn to the ground, or would you try to, put it out or something, right? You have like some reason to do it. And that's a big reason to do it. Get your account reinstated or your listings reinstated. That is something you need to do. And then lastly, we talked about how to escalate an issue to get it resolved. And basically, so what you want to do next is, if you do have an issue, especially I've seen some people saying like, I've just signed up and my account's already suspended. That's going to have some issues, obviously. But basically what you need to do is you need to basically tell them that you need help, create a succinct, to the point support ticket, telling the agent what to do. So here's what I want you to do. Here's the issue. Here's what I want you to do. And don't just lie down and say, okay, well, I've tried. Like, there's always a way to solve the problem. And then if that doesn't work, you can escalate it to Jeff@Amazon.com, that notice-dispute, and then the seller-support at Amazon.com as well. And that's really how you can get things kind of wrapped up faster. And don't just be like, just because it says Jeff@Amazon.com, he doesn't monitor that. That's not Jeff Bezos' email. It's a support team. It's their high-level support team that literally, we used to always say like, don't overuse it. But in reality, if it's an important issue, use it. Like, don't be afraid to use it. Like, it's there for a reason.
And I would just sort of say, here's a tip on to know when you're getting caught in what we call a loop, right? It's like the information loop of Amazon. If they just keep sending you back the same performance notification that you got in the first place, even though you've gone back to them, that's when you're not telling them the right thing, right? And so you need to switch something up, because then you get frustrated because you're like, they haven't responded to what I've actually sent to them. It's because you haven't given them the answer that they wanted, right? And so that's why that plan of action is very important. Understand the root cause, go back with what you're going to do about it, and tell them what you want them to do. And if you get the same thing back, you haven't done it in a succinct way, as Isaac said. So that's a good little tip to know. Yeah, exactly. So don't get frustrated. Just go, what didn't I tell them? Was my communication not clear enough? And 9 times out of 10, it won't be. So that's probably what the problem is.
It's like a computer program. If they only are looking for one command to do the next thing, you have to figure out what that command is and tell them that command.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Right on. Let's do a shout out to a few more people. So we've got, I saw Cindy from Arizona. And welcome, Cindy. We got MGSP from Huntington Beach. So welcome. So if you're joining us, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, we welcome you for being here. We've got, again, Becky from Chicagoland, Lee Lincoln from New York. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And Artem from Idaho. I'm assuming you say Idaho, but I could be wrong on that. But welcome to the call, everyone, anyway. So we're talking about how to get seller support. We're about to get into the Q&A. But first of all, like, if you've liked this presentation, again, please, please, please like and share it. Let other sellers know about it so that we can help others grow their business together. Also, make sure to leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of the call. And again, ask any questions. We're going to get to question and answers in just a moment. Before we do that, I want to talk about the new course we just released called the Amazing Accelerators that will help you take your business from where you are now to creating a full-fledged business. If you're sitting there overwhelmed, stuck, just feeling frustrated, you're not getting the results with your business that you need to be, check out more about Amazing Accelerators, because it's all about giving you a complete blueprint for helping you get unstuck, motivated again, and taking your business and accelerating it. That's why we've called it that. Go to AmazingAccelerators.com/blueprint. And this page is only live for a short period. You'll see there's a countdown timer on the page. The doors are closing Thursday at midnight. So if you want to be able to get in, you're going to want to check it out before that. And what is the Amazing Accelerators, maybe you're asking? So it's made up of 4 components, and it's all focused on helping existing Amazon sellers create a profitable business on Amazon by creating a real brand. And the first component of that is the online web class. Maybe Kirsty, you could talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so there's an online web class. There are 8 modules, and each week we'll be releasing a new module. And essentially, it's like a roadmap, as you said, Jason, right from woe to go. So really understanding, and what we've done here is we've actually taken core business principles, simplified it for the Amazon business to make sure that you guys actually, it's almost like an MBA for your own business, right? So you understand those business principles and how to apply them to scale effectively for your goals. So, we're really going to be going through assessing where you are right now in your business, understanding the numbers. That's the key thing that you guys need to really understand to be able to grow the business and pull the right levers for growth. So really understanding, knowing your numbers, how you're creating, what kind of brand are you creating? Are you connecting with your ideal client? The importance of return on investment and cash flow and all that good stuff. And then really understanding about scaling. So picking the right products for scaling, for your business, for your goals, and for your brand. Then looking at essentially how you build that audience so that you can actually own it, future-proofing your business. And then looking at, once you've got an awesome audience, you've got really relevant traffic, how do I actually create the best listings possible so that I can get high conversion rates and really talk to your ideal client? Then looking at simplifying Amazon sponsored ads. This is one of the key source of traffic for your Amazon business. And we know how people can get so overwhelmed with that stuff. So we want to make sure that that's simplified, but very, very effective for you. And then looking at launching effectively, keeping it there, maintaining it. And then expansion and diversification, because that's what you need in this business is once you've got like a few products moving, it's like, well, okay, how do I expand even further? How do I diversify and do that confidently? And then also, how do you build and hire a great team to be able to give you the leverage? Number one, grow quicker, but then also give you back the time that you actually wanted to create in the business for yourself in the first place.
Awesome. So I wanted to show you here, actually, hang on one sec. Where did that page go? That's not what I wanted to do. Where is that page? I am so sorry. I just had it up here. I wanted to show, well, I'll stop sharing. That was awkward.
Good thing you don't have anything on your desktop that's weird.
Yeah.
No, I must have hit the wrong button for my browser button. I apologize for that. So there we go. So I just wanted to let everyone know how to access it. So if you go to AmazingAccelerators.com blueprint, you'll see there, you'll come to this page. And you can learn all about what Kirsty talked about here, the Amazing Accelerators Component 1, the online web class. So the next component that I wanted to show you how it coordinates with this is lifetime access to the private accelerators community. And so what this is about is basically you don't want to be doing this alone. You don't want to be, building a business, you don't want to be an island. And so with this community, not only do we have mentors, Kirsty and Isaac in there as well, the whole idea is we want you to have answers to every question you have. We don't want to ever leave it so there's a stone unturned when it comes to you getting the most out of this training. So with the community, not only do you get the support from the training side, you also get motivation and inspiration. So often we see in these communities where people are saying, I'm just stuck, I need help. And just, 20 responses within a few minutes of people just offering support and help. It's all about, creating an environment where you're not in this alone, helping you to get unstuck, helping your business to move to the next level. And it's really a critical component. And oftentimes people downplay how important the community is, but we know with our other programs as well, and for ourselves, that you get so much better when you're surrounded by people that have likewise goals, the same goals. And especially when we're doing home businesses, working out of our home, it can get really lonely at times. It can feel people around you maybe don't support you or give you the can give you understanding to what you're going through. But by being in a community, you have that sense of belonging, and we're there to support you and bring you along the journey. And then we've got the powerful Accelerators resource vault. So maybe Isaac, you could share about that.
Yeah. So kind of to like piggyback on the web class. So you're getting the training that you need to get the information and everything that you need to understand. And then you're getting the help and support from the community. And then you're also getting resources such as, step-by-step guides on how to do all this stuff. So you don't have to do any of the guesswork. We've done this in our business for years. So we fine tune these resources. So templates for creating, customer emails, for example, or writing your promotions or whatever it is, and then step-by-step guides on how to create them and all that stuff. So you really get, I mean, there's like something like 32 or 36 or something like that resources in there. And we even add, I think we've added a couple in the last couple of days that I know I have that haven't even been on that, because I'm just like, oh, that would be a good one to put in there. So anytime we think of something that we can share with you and it's going to be a good resource for you, we add that to the resource vault. So that way you guys have all the necessary kind of, there's no reason why this business can't work for you, because you've got the support, you've got the training, and you've got the guides to just get it done. So you can actually take action right there from any part of the training videos and through the support and the resource vault, which is more than anything, it's all about taking the actions and getting stuff done. And if you can do that and use the resources, you're going to be a lot further along than pretty much anyone that's not using that stuff.
Cool. Yeah. And then component 4 is the all new live implementation workshop. So Kirsty, if you could talk about that.
Yeah. So, to what Isaac just sort of said there as well, at the end of the day, it's great. You've got the information, you've got the tools, but we want you to take action, because if you don't actually do anything, then you're not going to change anything in your business, right? So that's why we created the live workshops. We've been running live workshops now for 3 years. We know exactly what makes people take action. And so they're really there to help you navigate essentially what you need to do right now in your business to hit your goals, because there's so much stuff you could do, right? And so what we want to understand from you is, what are your goals? And therefore, what do you need to do in the next 90 days to make the biggest action to the goal that you want to achieve? And that's really what this is all about. So essentially, we've got, a course that we've created that helps you with that rhythm, if you like, of your business. So every 90 days, you want to be able to switch that up. And those live implementation workshops are there to get you to actually do it and make sure that it's your plan. It's no one else's plan, right? So it's what you need to achieve to be able to hit your goals. And that's why the live stuff really works really well. So whether you can join us literally live in the workshop, we also have a live stream as well. And we'll have someone there to be able to actually work with you, even from your own living room, your bedroom, your beach, wherever you want to do it from, right? To make sure that you actually create the right plan. Because if you don't take the right action, you're never going to achieve the result.
Yep. So as you can see, if you go to Amazing.com, it'll bring you to this live training that we've done. So there's 3 modules you can check out: Accelerate Your Profits, Double Your Conversion Rate, and the new Cash Focus Amazon Marketing Blueprint. This goes away in 2 days and 14 hours. So make sure, if you haven't already, you check out the free training. And before the doors close, do yourself a favor and head to AmazingAccelerators.com/blueprint to get access to the Amazing Accelerators. You can see the doors close in 2 days and 14 hours, so don't hesitate to join. Right on. So now let's get into the Q&A, and I'm going to ask the first question. A reminder, if you just joined us, we covered a lot of great information on here. We're getting to the Q&A now. So please like, share, and comment, and we'll get underway. So this is a great question to start it off from Vivian. What if your account is suspended before you even start selling?
Yeah. So funny enough, this has actually happened to me. Back in 2013, the guy I was working with, his account got shut down. And then I tried to open a seller account and mine got shut down before I even could sell. And the reason why was because it connected mine to his account. And because his account was suspended, they said, well, you're connected to another person's account. And in that scenario, it was because we had the same IP address. Pretty dumb, pretty easy to realize that, hey, if you're trying to open another account on the same IP address, it's probably a red flag. Now, what we had to do is obviously we had to go to Amazon and we had to say, look, this is my first account. I don't know why it's being suspended. Now, there could be loads of other reasons, right? So you might be connected to another seller who's already been so for example, Vivian, maybe you had a business partner or a family member set up an Amazon account, never do anything, but like accrued like a negative balance or something. They got shut down. Then maybe you got shut down for being on that same IP address. I don't know what the issue is, but you need to find out why you might have been suspended before you even started selling. And I know that Deepak over here in the Facebook also had this very similar thing. You need to find out why, or get a very closer to what you have now than no information. You will find something and you'll say, okay, look, I think what's happened here is that I've been associated with an account that's not mine, that's been kind of, or whatever it is. And then basically you do that plan of action. Here's what I'm doing to correct it. Here's the steps I'm going to take to basically make sure that you know that I'm a legitimate seller. I would like to get up and selling. Please reinstate my account. And then you can use the, if it doesn't go through the appeal, which I think everybody knows what that appeal is under performance notifications, if you've ever got a suspension anyway. And then you go through that appeal process. If they just say no, that's when you escalate it to the seller performance team and Jeff at Amazon.com and try to plead your case and say, look, I think this is what's going on. If that's not the case, please tell me what's happened, because I need to know so I can fix it. But essentially that is, they do allow multiple seller accounts on the same IP address. It's not that they don't do that, but if somebody's been banned from that IP address, or, maybe from your, same email address or a credit card number or bank account or whatever's linked, that can be a reason why they would have shut you down even before you started.
Yeah. So it's usually because of that, isn't it? It's either someone, maybe you open an account with a different bank account and that had a negative balance on it or something, or the credit card. So it's usually those three things. So look into those three, see what it is. And then you can always open a new bank account. You can always have a new credit card, and you can always plead your case with Amazon as well.
And you can legally change your name if you have to.
Hey man, you got to own it. I love that. Locke has kind of a similar one. Well, I guess not. He says our 2-month-old account, this is on YouTube, I'm reading this one. Our 2-month-old account was suspended and put under review. They requested utility bill, business license invoices. I haven't even started selling yet. Please help.
Yeah, so you just have to provide what they ask for, right? So generally what happens is because they just want to verify who you are. So it's a bit like if you're opening a bank account, you've got to go in there, you've got to provide a utility bill, you've got to provide maybe a passport or some kind of identification. So it's exactly the same process. So that's all you need to do. Just provide them exactly with your ID that they've asked for, the utility bill, and you should be up and running within the next 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. And the one thing about that is, I think the main sticking point for a lot of new sellers is they don't have that invoice, because they're trying to open the account so that they can sell on Amazon, but they haven't even ordered the product yet. So essentially, Amazon basically needs to see an invoice. Now you pretty much have to at least get a supplier that you're going to try to work with to get, an invoice. Even if you haven't paid it yet, say, hey, can you send me the invoice so that way I can get my account set up? And that's going to be helpful to you getting in that. But yeah, just like Kirsty said, supply everything they need. And for, like the utility bill, this is like your personal, hey, electricity at my own house, or, if you have an office, electricity at your office that has your business name on it or whatever. Those are the things that you need to provide. They want to know that you're a real person, because back in the heyday, back in 2012, 2013, people used to set up thousands of accounts and they were all fake. So that way they could just do all sorts of black hat stuff. I know, because I know actual people that have done that. And now they're like, okay, we need actual human verification. You can't do that anymore, which is good for us as sellers who are trying to do this legitimately, that they're shutting down all those accounts that are not real. So that's pretty much in our favor. So as long as you get through that process of the verification process, you'll be good to sell. And as long as you don't do anything weird, like, review or ranking manipulation or something.
So I want to make sure everyone's aware, first of all, a general disclaimer here, we don't work for Amazon. We're only giving you our best guess, and not our best guess, I shouldn't say that, what's worked for us. We're giving you advice of what's worked for us. So we obviously don't know every answer. So for example, Ari's asking, can your listing get suspended for including a competitor comparison table with images without naming the competitor? We don't know the ins and outs of exactly why or why not. So I just want to make sure, you don't hold us accountable for 100%. You need to figure this stuff out yourself. You need to contact Amazon and ask. So
I think a good rule of thumb for people is to go, does it look dodgy to me? If it does, don't do it. That's what I would say, right? If you feel like it's on the edge, don't do it. And you'll be better off as a business for it, So like you said, Jason, we can't ultimately say yes or no. Some people like to take more risks than others. So it's your own barometer of risk. But generally, deep down, you've got a gut feel. if you feel like it's not the right thing to do, then don't do it. That's always a good rule of thumb.
That's great advice. And, at the end of the day, like you can't get frustrated and say, oh, but I see this other person doing that. For example, if Amazon has very specific guidelines for images. And you could say, oh, they're telling me I have to take this image down, but don't go to them and say, well, I see these listings with this image. It's like, no. Take your image down and then maybe ask the question. Don't like try to defend yourself. Like at the end of the day, all the person has to say is nope, suspended. And even if it's only for a day, do you want to go without sales for a day? So, really take action that way, own it, and don't try to deflect. My opinion, a comparison table, I mean, if that's something, if they've hurt you, or if if you're looking at it and it looks dodgy and it might be close, is it worth it? Do you think you're really going to get that many more sales from doing it? And then, make the decision that way.
Yeah. And it's not like you can't just put like brand X on there, right? Because like that's what they used to do back in the 80s before they started comparing other products to other brands. So like I remember Tide and like Gain and all these other detergent commercials would say like, we are 80% better than brand X, instead of actually saying the name. So I don't even know if it's even that effective. Like what's the actual outcome of that? Like, do you think anybody goes like, oh yeah, that's totally legitimate, I believe that it's better than brand X by that much more? Not most of the time. They know it's a marketing play. So just what I like to focus on in my listings is just marketing about my stuff. I don't talk about compared to other people. In fact, Amazon does have some disclaimers in there that you can't use comparing language. They call it competitive language. So you can't say we're the best, we're the top of the line. Like they call that competitive language, meaning you're comparing yourself to the rest of the marketplace. They actually say you're not supposed to use it. Now I see it all the time, but I don't go around trying to get everybody who's using that language shut down. I just focus on my listing, right? I take ownership for what I'm doing and just work on that.
Excellent. That's excellent advice. Yeah. And so I see a couple of people here. I see Kenya, Rwanda, all that. There's also countries that Amazon will limit your ability to sell. So you've got to look at that. Look at what countries Amazon has issues with, because that's something you're going to want to be able to focus on as well, too. So we're almost at the end of this call. This has been great. We've got some great questions. I just want to see here if there's anything else. This one's interesting. Vivian's saying, I would call Amazon if I had a number. I looked everywhere for it, then wrote on Facebook. Anyway, she said she's still suspended. Any advice for Vivian?
Yeah, that's the tough one. So like when you can't even get into your seller support because your account's been suspended, it is tough to find that phone number to contact them. I know there is a phone number out there. I don't know what it is anymore, to be honest with you, because I haven't had to call that number in a very long time, and it has recently changed. I know that. What I would try to do is see if there's any communities, forums, or, even if you have to just email jeff@amazon.com, try to get somebody to call you back and just say, hey, look, I know that jeff@amazon.com or seller-performance@amazon.com. And this goes for Deepak in the Facebook. He's saying that they're not responding to him. Escalate it. Keep escalating it. Go to the next level up. And Kirsty, it looks like you have the 866 number, so you can go ahead. But yeah.
Yeah. So Jason or Isaac, if you want to post that into the chat, that's
Sure.
a number you can call. The other thing you can always do is, if you don't have seller support, just call your Amazon customer service number and just say, I want to be put through to seller support.
Yeah. So like the actual buyer customer support.
Yeah. So like if you were a customer and you were going to call about a refund or something, just use the customer number and then ask for seller support. But that is a direct line to Amazon seller support right there. Nice. I know, because I've had to call them a lot.
Yeah, and like I know Deepak in the Facebook side was saying he's been suspended for like 2 months now due to a credit card or something like that. Look, you got to get that resolved. Like whatever you have to do, I would have got that resolved in 2 weeks at most. I would not have waited 2 months. And you can't just go around and say like, oh, well, it's Amazon's fault, I can't do it. Like I just can't. They won't let me. Of course they will. You have to fix that issue. You as a business owner have to figure out what the problem is and get it done. And like I said, do not take no for an answer. You got to get somebody on the phone. You got to get somebody who will listen to what you're trying to do and explain the situation. So if it's an expired credit card or whatever, just they'll work with you. Like if it's really legitimately just an expired credit card, that is not a reason to be suspended for 2 months. Not at all.
And one thing I would say is that we do see a lot of people and they go, oh yeah, my listing's down, but I'll get to it next week. But then next week comes and then they don't get it resolved, right?
Yep.
And so a week can turn into 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So just jump on it straight away, guys. This is, as Isaac said, if your business was burning down, then you would put the fire out. And that's literally what you need to start doing, is thinking of this as a real business, because that's the only way you're going to, really grow and also learn. That's what you say, Jason, right? Yeah, we don't know all the answers, but we've had a lot of experience in the last 6 years or so, or 7 years, where we've dealt with pretty much, I think, any issue that we've had to do with Amazon, right? From shut down accounts, shut down products, everything, and got it resolved. So that's what you need to do. The quicker you learn, the quicker you're going to be able to grow.
Yeah, I mean, let's just take a survey of the panelists on this call. Who here has had their account shut down?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, again, I tell you, like, own it. Like, they're not going to sit there. If you go, this is bull crap, I can't believe you did this. It's like, figure it out, own it, and then fight for it. Escalate it. If you're sitting there and just waiting for them to get back to you, like everyday contact, if there's something where, you're finally at a point where just nothing else can happen, but you have some guidance, the next day, call them again and figure it out. Escalate definitely with the email at minimum. Yeah. I think we pretty much covered the questions. I know there's some other questions here that I think if you go to AmazingAccelerators.com, check out the training there. It can help you a lot. I promise you, there's a free series going away. It's going to be going away Thursday at midnight, and it's all focused on helping you grow your Amazon business. Kirsty and Isaac, thank you very much for being here. Hope everyone has enjoyed this. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. And I'll let Kirsty and Isaac say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
See you guys later.